Hello and welcome to another episode of the DewatchPod podcast. I am Jürgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jim with a G. Welcome to the first attempt at recording this.
That's right, because I have always known that the episode we watched today is called What is Starfleet?
Amazing. So, this is the DewatchPod podcast, and we are currently de-watching Star Trek Strange New World?
Worlds, plural.
Worlds, Season 3.
That's right, and we have watched the third episode of this season, because what we're doing is we're watching the best and the worst rated episode on IMDb of each season.
And a wild card.
And a wild card this season. I'll see if I have more wild cards in future. And, well, Jim, would you like to recommend this episode to our dear listeners?
Yes, I want to say. Like, it's a bit of a weird one, because it's way slower than the other two episodes we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's up my lane. So I want to say very different episode, but I liked it overall.
Alright. I think I'm leaning that way as well, but not as I think it's an episode that is trying to say something.
Yes,
and
it feels more ambitious in that sense.
That is why I'm recommending it. We'll get into the depths of it a bit later.
Editing Jim here. I'm sitting next to editing Jorgen, and we want to announce that we have decided to regret our words and our deeds. We do not recommend this episode anymore.
We do not recommend watching this episode. Do not watch this episode.
Yeah.
Like, look up a cool screenshot of Mothra. Now, we're going to throw back to the content warnings in a second here, but those are also incomplete because in discussing this episode, we end up talking about both contemporary politics and genocide. So I guess don't look forward to that, but be aware.
Speaking of the depths of it, shall we do some trigger warnings?
Absolutely. There's content such as war in this episode.
Suicide. Sorry, I did not cue that properly.
Mind control.
And some gore.
That's right. And if you're particularly influenced by the disaster at Chernobyl, do also be warned that radiation does feature in this episode.
You said you aren't going to do this.
Yeah, but you know, we can have some fun with it.
We can over unexpose our viewers.
Yeah, we can be like,
Okay, so this is the core of why I am here now.
So the thing that Jim doesn't know, but I do know, is which of these episodes is rated well, badly, and my wild card. Now, the episodes we have watched is The Salat That Ate Its Tail,
4.5 Vulcans,
and of course, What is Starfleet, today's episode. What do you think, Jim?
Okay, so I'm gonna get the easy one out of the way. 4.5 Vulcans is definitely your wildcard episode, and I know that for multiple reasons. First of all, it's very strange. It's a very weird episode, and I don't think you would have been like, "Oh, I'm gonna show Jim these either of these other two." I don't think they're. It's gonna sound mean. I don't think they're interesting enough that you would have picked them up out from the season roster.
We have one pick locked in.
So I first predicted that The Salat Ate Its Own Tail was going to be the good one, because I didn't think it was great, but I didn't feel like it was bad enough that it was going to be the worst one. And also, if either of these two end up being the worst one of this season, I would say that's kind of good. Neither of them strike me out as particularly bad. But I think I am choosing hope today, Jorgen. I am, because one of these is very bog standard to me, sci-fi adventure, and one of them is trying to comment on something greater. So I'm choosing to believe that today's somber, sentimental episode is the good one, and it's going to beat out the sort of fan servicey, oh, look at Kirk being back episode of The Salat That Ate Its Own Tail.
Now, you are right about my wild card. You are wrong about which one of these is well rated and which one is poorly rated.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this was the worst rated episode of the season, unless I fucked up my checks of IMDb.
Can I get how bad? Like, what's the chasm here? You don't have to like find the exact rating or whatever, but
Well, I have it right here. This was a 6.2 versus the Salat at 8.3.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
So fan service wins out.
Yeah. Vulcans, interestingly, not that far above this one. At 6.8.
Seeing that. Like, I do get it on some level. Like, it's a bit forced at times. Like, not to try to backtrack on my evaluation. It has some flaws. But I guess I was expecting the ambition to maybe outstrip the sort of like bog standard nature of the Sellout that they entail.
Oh.
Fair enough. I'll allow it.
Well, let's blaze through this summary because it's an easy one. So this episode is called What is Starfleet because it's about basically a sort of piece of investigative journalism that is then turned around on the reporter. The reporter being Beta Ortega's, Erica Ortega's brother.
Yeah.
And basically he is having his stupid, annoying flying cameras that he doesn't know how to use properly, and I can tell that the camera operators were like forced at gunpoint to do a bad job this episode for effect.
They did wiggle a lot.
And like just like the most unnecessary, annoying movements all of the time. Weird angles. It's a very present camera, and I think it overstays its welcome a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, he's documenting, and they've declassified footage to complete this documentary. And basically the actual events of the episodes that he is documenting is shit, what's the ship named? I don't know. It's been a while.
The Enterprise?
Oh, that's right. It was too obvious.
I'm better at Star Trek trivia now. I'm one of the people.
Oh, sure. And the Enterprise is sent to escort like what is initially described as livestock to like a world that has been absolutely like wrecked in a recent conflict. If I'm getting the sides right. And it sort of comes to be quite obvious that actually this is a extremely cool, like this is Mothra, and they've turned it into like a manipulated weapon of war to strike back at their oppressors. And
said space dragon Mothra creature is not happy about that.
Yeah.
And we end up having a little bit of communication first with Spock, but he's too sensitive of a boy. He gets overwhelmed by
his brain is too receptive to the Mothra mind meld.
Which I think we've all been there. So he gets thrown out, and we get a less sensitive girl who shows up.
Yeah, it's Uhura. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm getting in the chair that almost kills you. And she's like, oh, actually, gang, this fella wants to fucking die. Or I guess it's a lady, it's a mother.
It is a mum.
And
for all our British
they're like,
viewers.
yeah, I guess we can do that for you. Starfleet won't be happy, but we will get their approval to let you fly into the sun. And
she does.
Yeah, and Beidou is like, whoa, that's so crazy. I guess I was wrong about Starfleet after all. And Uhura's like, yeah, you're a dumb bitch, and you were mad about your sister getting hurt, and you were like, oh, I'm gonna do a hit piece. And he's like, I guess I was.
She really rolled like a natural 20 on the psychoanalysis in the moment. It's pretty sick, actually.
And that's the entire episode, and the arc is more or less that Beta Ortega comes around to being like, yeah, no, I guess Starfleet is good.
Yeah, because we both have the like actual plot of the giant Jikaru, the space dragon, who wants to kill itself. Oh, this is... Man, I'm glad we did the content warnings. I feel like that could have slipped through. We have that as the main plot, but we also have like what comes across pretty clearly in this documentary I'm making is that he has adopted a very critical.
Yeah, he's an annoying bitch.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, he is so annoying.
And he's clearly sneaking recordings of conversations he's not actually privy to, which is, it's kind of stunning that manages to be declassified, but I guess it ends up being a positive propaganda film at the end.
Well, they do actually classify, like, the speech part of the Admiral, which is somewhat funny in retrospect, that you're like, oh yeah, no, declassify all of our fucking, like, foot soldiers, but the Admiral, them giving politically damaging orders to just fucking do it, just deliver the weapon. That gets classified. So, you know, transparency 0, Starfleet 1, and what is this episode about?
You sound like you don't know. Because to me, it actually feels quite straightforward. I even feel like we get it by name pretty close to the end. Like, it's about loss, right?
Is it?
I think so. It's about loss and dealing with it, and to some extent the chain of command. Like, I think one of the thesis statements we get from Captain Pike is that, like, sometimes you gotta do the shit you don't want to do. Right? Like, I think that's, to me, the through line is not perfect, but it's fairly clear.
I mean, I think it is a bit more ambitious than that, actually. Like, I think the thesis statement gets, like, set right off the bat, and they're like, what is Starfleet? What separates Starfleet? But what's the difference between, like, a federation and an empire? And, like, the answer it comes to is the difference is the people. And
yes,
I find that profoundly lacking.
Well, see, that's kind of why I'm not bringing that part up, because I find that part profoundly unambitious. Because they don't actually discuss that. Like, okay, so the central background conflict to this whole space dragon thing is that, like, the Latani?
Sure.
That sounds about right. The Latani...
Don't worry, these are one
No, I understand.
Fellas.
I mean, like, I know stuff about Vulcans and Klingons. Yeah. I'm a Star Trek nerd now, so I know these things. But no, like, the background info is like this Latani, and I don't know if we get the information about what their government is like or whatever, but, like...
No.
They've been invaded.
Yeah. Real bad.
Yeah, like, I think it's something like 200,000 casualties to 9 million casualties. They are doing very poorly.
Yeah.
Unclear how much of that is civilian or not. I think it wouldn't be that surprising if they, like, because they feel a bit like they're being cast into the, like, soft republic role. You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones being invaded. They're losing to, like, a militaristically aggressive other. The Kassar, I believe, or at least that's their planet. We get nothing. They are not mentioned for the rest of the episode, which I was like, damn, it's kind of impressive in a weird way. But I don't think this, like, the whole it's the people has about as much emotional weight to me as, I guess, the real treasure were the friends we made along the way. You know?
Yeah, like, and that's why I'm mad.
Well, I think we can be mad about that, but, like, I see what you mean.
Like, the trouble I'm having with this episode is that, don't worry, all we need is for the good guys to have the biggest guns, right? This is like Obama level foreign policy. This is like, don't worry, we'll do a limited intervention in Libya. We can sort this. All we need to do is, like, have a really big army and bang on the table, and things start happening. And it's right, like, Starfleet is not analogous to America, but, like, there is that, like, don't worry, a big actor with extraordinarily disproportionate power can just wade into a conflict and
impose its own understanding on it.
Well, sort of like learn on the fly and go like, don't worry, wildlife sanctuary, they'll fix it.
Well, like, no, I don't think that's... I actually disagree on that point. I don't think the whole wild... Like, this is, to me, not about that. like, I don't think they imply that the wildlife sanctuary is going to fix anything with the war.
No,
they're saying, like, we cannot be part of this. And I think a lot of wars, you could probably say it'd be good if there was less war. I know I'm making controversial points here. But I think there's also something controversial to be said that there isn't usually an aggressor and a non-aggressor in a war.
Well, in this case, we seem to be looking at an extreme mismatch that one side is trying to, like, sort of move past by doing, like, the most unethical weapon they can, like, conceive of.
Yeah, but isn't that a strange application to real life? Like, listen, I think and this is I'm gonna come out quite extreme here in some ways. I think there are wars that are, if not morally justified, preferable to not using violence. I think, for example, because this is the only one where I feel unambiguous about it, intervening in Nazi Germany would have broadly been a good thing. Obviously, with immense, like, consequences we should not ignore. But I think there's an argument there. But broadly, I think most wars would be better off if they did not happen. And the person who, or like, the factions that initiate it are, I think it's somewhat fair to say would be broadly more at fault for that. So I think that it's an interesting approach of this episode to suggest that, like, yeah, these guys are being invaded. They're being slaughtered to, what is that, like a 45, like a factor 45 difference. And they're still kind of the bad guys here.
Well, yeah, no, like, that is more or less what this episode is saying, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they don't portray it like fully unsympathetically, but like the absence of the actual invaders is a bit like, because this is like, okay, let's say you have a country, and we don't even have to get into any real world examples because I don't think there are any. Let's say your country's being invaded, and you build a nuclear bomb that you're gonna drop on them, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. But like, I like there's something there to actually analyze. So it's kind of strange for me that, like, that's swept away in a way.
Yeah, I think that is sort of the weakness of this episode, because it is just going, you know, like, right, like, to take your example, right, like, with the notion of the possible existence of a just war, right, like, the Soviets didn't declare on Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
The Americans didn't declare war on Nazi Germany, right? Like,
that is a complicating factor in this
right?
analogy.
And I think I think it's absolutely defeating, right? Because I'm not like a realist foreign policy person like Henry Kissinger. Right? Like, you can take, like, countries have interests so much too far that you're just doing, like, another genocide. Like Kissinger. I think he was behind terror bombing. That much is actually I know of the dome, right? So, right, I'm not endorsing, like, the extreme realist position here, but just going, like, oh yeah, no, don't worry. We're actually impartial here. Like, that is, like, that's utopian to the point of being alien to me, right? A just, like, impartial force going, like, oh yeah, no, we're just trying to help. Don't worry, we are, and, like, that is what the episode genuinely, like, posits. No, Starfleet is just, like, trying to do the best, and, you know, they're reconfiguring on the fly. And in the particular current geopolitical moment, where there is a declining but very much still present, like, sole superpower in the world, the sole military superpower of America, which is like, not backing sides on ethical grounds, but just on going, like, oh yeah, these are our boys.
Yeah.
And guess what? these are the people we fucking hate. So we don't really care what anyone's side agenda is. We're just going to back the people we like, and back whoever against the people we hate.
So in this episode, the word colonizer gets dropped.
Yes.
And what's more, there are multiple conversations with like Starfleet Command that are being questioned by like, isn't it kind of fucked up that you're bringing this weapon to one side when you're supposed to be impartial? Beto says that. I think in conversation with Uhura.
We ever get like the actual, like, we don't ever get the agenda from Starfleet, right? We don't, because all the orders are redacted. It's just like, oh yeah, no, just like deliver this livestock. So
I do think we get it at one point, like from Pike, but whatever. It's not super important. I think it's heavily implied that they're still okay with it after the whole weapon thing is revealed.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I think that's also like something you could develop into fair criticism, right?
Yeah, no, there is like an implied, like, they're doing some foreign policy, and it's entirely unclear what their line is, and then like the guys on the ground go like, hey, this is fucked up, and they're just like, alright, I guess we'll stop. I guess if you say so, we won't.
Well, no, they're threatened into it.
Remind me.
Pike going, you don't want to make an enemy of the Federation.
Oh, sorry, no, I meant Starfleet Command.
I see.
Right, like, they're just like, I guess you can do the ethical thing if you have to. Right, that is more or less the vibe I'm getting, that they're, like, reluctantly pressured by, like, an annoying subordinate into, like, not doing, like, the most unethical weapons trade.
Yeah. I think this is broadly why I don't think this is an interesting line of inquiry. Because, like, we can say that, like, okay, like, their answer to what separates implied a like democratic state from like an authoritarian militarist one is the people, and that is uninteresting as an answer. And we can talk a lot about like the realities of actual systems, about dehumanization that can very much still occur in democracies on occasion more effectively. Like, the US propaganda system is one of the strongest in the world and has historically been incredibly good at what it does because of the way it engages the civilian population. We saw this a lot post World War II. But I don't think there's enough meat.
Yeah, no, know? Like that is like my chief complaint, that they're like making this extremely limp point extremely badly and like without thinking through it, and like making like an investigative journalist like kind of the asshole, and like just like trying to draw any analogy from this to actual reality like is absolutely like leads nowhere where I can even like still begin to make a charitable reading. And that is why I just like want to pull out like how ass this part of the episode is.
Yeah. I think we can lodge that complaint. We can nail these theses up on the church wall and call it a day, and then not form the Protestant Reformation. We can just be chill with our complaints.
To be clear, that is the main thing the episode like states it is interested in. But
we must also
we need some meat.
Well, like, that's the thing. We must look at the text as a whole. And if you start a piece of media with, this is what this is about, and then you don't talk about that thing for the rest of the media, I cannot reasonably say that that's what that piece of media is about.
Well, it is, like, bookended by it, right? It is
yes, that's also bizarre.
Answer, right?
That's also bizarre.
But yeah, no, moving on. Moving to the things that are more central to the actual stuff in this episode.
Yeah, and to me, like, I think that the through line to me still is about loss, right? Like, it's, like, Spock, who keeps being our bullied little half-Vulcan boy, like, talks about, like, his loss of a friend. We have Erica, who talks about the loss of her mother. I think she's the, like, engineer, I want to say? Is that
she's the pilot.
What? Okay.
She's just working on a motorcycle.
I feel like I've never seen her drive the ship.
Oh, that's because of all the absolutely terrible camera work this episode deliberately did to make you hate the journalist character.
All right, fair enough. We have that. We obviously have the space dragon dealing with the loss of herself, essentially, and like accepting that loss by committing suicide. Please don't take moral instructions here, but like it still connects to that, right? Like it's about what you lose and how you move on from that. Like Erica like talks, or like Beto talks about this, that like yeah, like he quote unquote lost his sister to Starfleet, and it is up to him to how to actually like go on from that. Spock talks about it in the sense that like he lost some degree of his childhood or whatever, his belonging in the Vulcan community, his friends, and then he made new ones. He moved on from that. And like I don't think it's the most complicated point in the world, but I think it's pretty good to me. Like I think it has a genuine point of saying like, yeah, this sucks. Like there's so much pain in the world. Everyone's gonna accrue a lot of it, and then there's a world left after, and then you have to move into that world. I think that's why like I don't think I'm as annoyed by the investigative journalist as you are, because I think okay, I do have a problem with hitting people with the like shock psychoanalysis of like you're only doing this because da 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 da. But I think like his journey there is fairly good. Like the fact that he gets to make something out of that, like he gets to express his loss and then he gets to move on.
Yeah, I mean there is like this sort of like, and like I think it's about loss, and it's sort of about like the sort of less shown and more told side of like, yeah, you know, and found family is like
Yeah.
sort of on the other side of that for like basically all of these characters who are like, yeah, no, I fucking love Starfleet. Um, because, you know, I was in a dark place and then these people just took me in and gave me new purpose. Um, again, you could read into that a bit, but I think like drawing the cult connection on this one is is unfortunately a bit of a stretch because it would be quite funny.
Yeah.
But like I guess there is like some through line of like extremely like an extremely like strong belief system.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I don't know if it's found family so much as purpose, right?
I
Like
mean, it's definitely both, right? Because they're all like,
yeah.
yeah, no, I fucking love these people.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think found family is kind of here like a subcategory of finding purpose, right? Like one of the
Yeah,
things you can do is be like, okay, like I've gone through this trauma, I've gone through this loss or whatever, and I'm gonna dedicate myself to my friends, my adventuring party in D&D or whatever, right? Like, you can do that. Like that's a purpose. Like you choose for yourself your goals in life, right? Like your values and what you strive towards. Um, I think like one of those interesting things is because you know the best character in this show is Laan Noonien Singh. She's mostly the best character because of 4.5 Vulcans, but whatever. I'll stand her until I am given a replacement. And she doesn't really emphasize that the found family side, like, but she seems to
no,
have like she talks about discipline. She talks about like
yeah,
having found a way to channel her energy, which otherwise could get quite destructive, which is also very cool.
yeah, no, like the
Best girl.
the thesis this puts forward is more or less that like I think the like found family and purpose like aren't at odds, right? It is
No,
like
not
sort
at
of it
all.
is like a sense of shared purpose,
Yeah.
right? It's like like it is like there is sort of like a sort of missionary notion almost to it, right? To be like, yeah, no, we'll like bring these like values and like will like travel the galaxy doing good deeds.
So by saying missionary, you like implanted an obtrusive thought in my head of Mormon Star Trek.
I mean, I think like that is a tiny amount of the expanse. Um,
Oh, it's been too long since I watched The Expanse. I'm gonna have to rewatch it with that in mind. But yeah, no,
I
like I
haven't seen enough of it to make that point cogently.
but genuinely like I do think like I don't think those two things are at odds
Yeah,
at all. Rather, I
no,
think
no. I
like one's
complementary, really.
yeah.
But yeah, no, and I guess that leaves us with like, um, the interesting, like, odd one out who, like, the person who hasn't found this purpose, and who, like, does in this season, at least not during Starfleet, which is Beto Ortegas. He's just like, yeah, no, I guess I was mad. But I guess I'm fine now that I've, like, and
It's very Freudian.
well, I think the deal with him is just like, hey, if you're not a dick about this, like, it is just fine. Right? It is, like, everyone else is like, yeah, no, like, had some pretty rough times, and he's like, I'm mad my sister found a job where she travels. Right? And it is just like, for him, it is not, yes, I found purpose. It's just like, I've accepted this other person's autonomy.
It's perhaps a bit less noble than some of the other ones, but like simultaneously, like I think it's kind of interesting in the sense that like we don't really get his perspective because he's the one telling the story.
Yeah.
Which is like, I quite like when people play with like narrator tropes, and
Yeah.
they usually don't do it in this way, where it's kind of like his self-actualization here, his like coming to terms with his personal loss, whether you believe it's a valid loss or not, is not told to us except by implication of the fact that like he ends up making a documentary that's at least fairly complimentary to Starfleet.
Yeah, no, like
because
this.
like, yeah, I should be a propagandist.
Yeah, no, this is straight up like on the level of like fucking commissioned propaganda of like the converted journalist. Like, it is kind of fucked at that point.
It is. I think this episode is remarkable with how many troubling implications it has for the political system of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And it's like listen, I'm there to like, I love getting into uncomplicated stories and making them unnecessarily complicated. It is a demon in my head that is always there. But this doesn't take delving, right? Like, every time you go like, oh, okay, like, do you want to talk about the thing where you just kind of like Starfleet consents to the whole like smuggling weapons for one side effectively? No, okay, fair enough. All right, just breezing past that. I think like, okay, I didn't realize this because I think I guess I focused in on the themes of like loss too much. The more I talk about them, the less I like this episode.
Yeah, no,
like I don't know, like I still kind of want to put it over the Salata Data's own tail just because it's more ambitious. And I don't.
Is it?
I think it is. I think it's profoundly unambitious in its analytics of politics and chain of command, but it has something to genuinely say about personal journeys. And like, I don't know, man. Like, this is a thing that happens in fantasy and sci-fi where someone wants to tell a personal story and then implies a lot of bad shit, like by accident, about the political system of the world they live in.
But like, it's so like core to the episode though that like it, like, this episode wants to be read in the context of, like, it's made by Americans, right?
Yeah, Americans don't have political awareness for themselves.
No, you cannot get this one. Like, this one is on purpose, but I don't know what they're trying to say, right? Like, is this just like fucking Obama era liberals going I don't know what happened in Libya, I think we should go back to being world police brackets good?
Well, no, I think that's genuinely it, though. Like, I think that's what the lack of political awareness is. And, like, yeah, I made a joke about Americans. I'm sorry. If we want to be more serious, yeah, like, I think this is kind of what happens with a certain political space in the world. Like, and I don't think it's just America. I think you can hit this, like, plenty of other places where you get into the, like, I've heard people criticize things I stand for, and I'm not actually going to get to the core of those criticisms. I'm just going to repeat the noise they make, and then I'm going to say, well, it's about the people, man, at the end. Like, I think that is a particular brain disease you can have about superpowers. You know? Like, very genuinely, I don't think that is malevolent, and I don't think they were trying to, like, let's justify the war in Iraq. Like,
well, no, I think, see, what I'm struggling with is that, like, it's obviously, like, kind of talking about, like, how to be, like, an ethical superpower.
Yeah.
And, like, it's, like, drawing some, like, extremely, like, open to analogy things, and and it's doing nothing where I'm like, okay, I'm seeing, like, cogent analysis here, but, like, it's geared up to do that, and I don't know what to do with that.
Well, I don't think there's much to do with that apart from, like...
Do you think it's just that bad?
A little. Like, I mean, like, no, I think you can analyze it, but I don't think you can analyze it using their terms. Like that's what I'm trying to very genuinely express. I think they have heard criticisms of the U.S. role as, like,
and they're like, oh
police.
no, we need good people, like,
Kinda.
pulling back on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you think that is what this episode believes? Like, I'm genuinely asking.
I don't think they believe there is a real problem. I think they've heard criticisms and they can repeat those criticisms, but they cannot analyze them. Right? And I'm sorry if that's really bleak, and
we've entered the bleak zone.
Maybe I'm being misanthropic, but, like, I think that's, like, I don't know, you can do that with a lot of things, and I think we do that with a lot of things, that we just, like, I know what people have said, and I will have it in my head as the semantic space, but I will not engage with the meaning behind those noises.
This episode was probably written last year, in the year when Joseph Joe Biden was in the White House backing Israel's bombing campaign in Gaza to the hilt.
Like, I thought about bringing this up, like, a few minutes ago, like, asking, is this episode pro-Israel? And I don't know if I'm willing to go that far, but, like, the inspiration of the like, the things this episode would talk about if it was actually engaging with politics would be such things, yeah. You know?
Yeah, no, but, like, I'm just, like, like, floundering, like, if it's just saying nothing.
I think the thing about atrocities that your state commits is that the only way to get around them is by analogy, and you have to analogize real hard. You have to really, like, get your fucking, like, scrubbing machine that you use to make metaphors and put it on the highest blast until everything is sanded the way you want it to. Like, I don't know about the political leanings of these writers.
I mean, it's Star Trek. It's gotta be, like, it's self-perceived left.
Yeah, but those people, like, a lot of people on, like, there are plenty of people on the left, especially on the center left, that have supported Israel. Like this is a reality one has to square with.
Yeah, no, like, God, I guess I'm not coming up with a better, like, thesis of what, like, these people were thinking. Like,
I'm sorry.
I cannot, like, make any coherent, good faith, like, on their own terms reading of this episode. Like, it does not come together for me into anything, like, into someone saying, like, something that is remotely, like, substantive.
Yeah.
I think I might need to go back and edit those recommendations in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'd sign off on that. And you might also want to add, like, a content warning extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few extra things, I suppose. I didn't really want to go here.
Yeah, no,
like, and perhaps this is a personal flaw, but, like, I try to, I guess I do on some level try to ignore when people are trying to make, like, these analogous political points that they are clearly floundering and not really devoting much energy to thinking about. I guess I want to accept naivete as perhaps not harmless, but at least not as harmful as, you know, boldly engaging with a bad stance.
I mean, genuinely, like, I'm not saying this episode is, like, endorsing genocide. Like, by no means. I'm saying it's, like, saying nothing when saying something might have been helpful.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like, at a time when saying things, you know, is probably important.
Yeah.
When art maybe should serve a reflective function for society.
Can I for perhaps a bit way of like winding down, can I tell you about Doctor Who episode?
I'm not sure how that'll lift the tone, but yeah.
There's a Doctor Who episode. I don't watch Doctor Who, but I have received this information from Zara Z. So some people in the audience might already know what I'm talking about. There's a very distinctly pro-life Doctor Who episode.
With the moon?
Yeah.
That one's really weird.
And,
I've seen that
and
one.
the writers have insisted it has nothing to do with abortion.
Yeah, I
And
guess that is always the last line of defense when you get, like, found out.
And Detroit Become Human has nothing to do with black people. Like, I don't know, like, some of those are obvious lies,
Yeah.
but some of them, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much of it is just, like, stuff you subconsciously take in and just process and go, like, I could do something with this. I could do something with these little undercurrents in my brain. And then, whoops, I've made space abortion Doctor Who episode. You know?
I'm starting to, like, have a theory of what a cogent political reading of this episode might be form in my head.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just try to be very succinct. Like the extremely contemporaneous reading of this episode is, I think, like, well, I guess we can't really back Hamas because of all the terrible things they do.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll just have to back off, which is technically an improvement on the current US foreign political stance.
Yay.
But not really a deep analysis of current geopolitics. But I don't know if that's what these people mean. I don't know if they mean anything.
I don't think they intend to mean much in that department. But also, like I think that's valuable to look at it on its own, right? Is that, like, works of art will always reflect something, right?
Yeah.
And this is clearly digesting some stuff about politics. I think that's undisputable. But it's not thoughtful.
No.
And it just reflects a certain vision of the status quo.
Yeah, no, but again, like, I think at the end of the day, it's just really weak.
Yeah.
Like, and, maybe, well, I guess we can just end on a downer because...
Yeah, of course. We haven't had a good downer for a while.
I guess...
Robot Fucker season was good. The last two
Yeah.
episodes were at least somewhat interesting.
I think the trouble is that we are watching the worst rated episode of the season. And we are doing that to ourselves. So...
But where shall we proceed from this worst episode?
We will be watching the best or worst episode of season 2 next week. And I haven't done the research to figure out what that is.
Mystery.
So... I might have to do some pruning because it might be a 2-parter and it might even be an inter-season 2-parter, which I would definitely shoot that one down.
I think it would be very funny if either of the individual episodes we watched was a second part of a 2-parter. Like, it would be a very unique experience.
So far, I haven't had to make any calls yet, but it will come up.
It will come up.
And I will justify my decision once Jim has successfully or unsuccessfully guessed what the good and bad episodes were, according to the public of IMDb.
I wanna say I'm gonna improve in my guessing.
Well,
I wanna say that.
I think you had to go with your gut when you were like, oh, fan service probably did well.
Yeah. I can't believe I've done this again.
Yeah, no. But here we are. And I guess tune in next time to see if Jim's guessing gets better or worse.
And there will be on the other side. See ya!
Toodaloo!